I guess I wouldn't classify myself as like an overlander. I'm more like I like going really hard trails. I love the rocks. And for me, I guess overlanding, I guess to me is you get done doing like the 8 hour trail. You get to a campsite by the lake, you pull out the cooktop, you open up the tent, that's it. It's very
Mhm.
seldom that I say, I get the boys together and say, hey, let's go on a camping trip when there's no off road.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, there always has to be like an off road like obstacle to get to the campsite.
Are you into four-wheeling, camping, and exploring? How about off-road racing like mud bogs, short course wheel-to-wheel racing, or even desert races? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to 4x4 Canada podcast. My name is Wes, and I've been four-wheeling since I was 6 weeks old. I have over 20 years experience in 4x4 shops, many more than that in the off-road racing, and a lifetime of exploring the backcountry across Canada. Every week, we bring you a new guest where they give you their perspective on the industry. We discuss everything from four-wheeling, overlanding, every form of off-road racing across this great country, as well as we talk to Canadian manufacturers and 4x4 shops. Just a quick reminder that if you're looking for more episodes, you can find all of our episodes on 4x4canadapodcast.com or your favorite podcast sharing platform. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at 4x4canadapodcast.com. Now let's get to the show. Hey, everybody, it's Wes. I'm one of the hosts in the 4x4 Canada podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Trisha. Nice to meet you.
Hi, everyone. I'm the guest, Michael Reardon from TRD North and 4Runners of Ontario.
Awesome. Welcome, Michael. Thanks for coming out. It's nice having a Toyota boy come out from Ontario.
100%.
Lately, it's been a lot of Jeep things happening, so it's just nice to have another Toyota back up here.
Okay, so yes, Michael's here as our guest for today. So let's chat about a little bit about the group called 4Runners of Ontario, which I noticed you guys have about like 2.3 thousand members. When was the group founded? Like, when did it start? Tell us a bit about a group.
So the groups originally started back in around 2016. And the guys who started it was only really meant to be like a group of guys that went out wheeling that all had Toyotas. And then I guess people slowly started joining, and then now it's really developed into a group where if you're looking for like parts or advice or a shop or literally anything to do with a Toyota 4Runner, it doesn't matter what generation, you can just go in there, shoot off a message, and you'll get the help you need.
Awesome.
So I've noticed both on your Instagram profile and on the shirt that you're wearing is TRD North. What's that all about?
So TRD North is a group of guys that I go wheeling with, like we do camping, wheeling. It's like, to pretty much sum it up, keep it simple. It's like a group of guys who enjoy modifying their vehicles, taking them to the next level and going out and wheeling them. There's a lot of people in the 4Runner industry. It's really, I'm just looking for a reliable vehicle to go to point A to point B. So the TRD North group is like a group of guys from the 4Runners of Ontario and our buddies from all over Ontario who enjoy going out there, working on their rigs, putting the mods on, wheeling them, and riding them pretty hard.
Nice.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the Instagram on the TRD North and some nice looking rigs, and you guys aren't afraid to use them by the looks of it. So, which is great. They're not just for the mall, right? So
No, absolutely not. We like to get out there, break them, and then bring them back to John and Dan.
Now, you and Trisha actually met on the trail, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. So backstory about it. So basically, we were both going to do trail runs that day. I was going to take a Jeep group out that day, and Michael was going to take a big group out that day. So he messaged me. He's like, hey, just a heads up. We have 50 plus Jeep runners and trucks coming that day. And, we'll be on the trail at the same time. So we kind of like worked around it. But then we got to meet on the trail. So I got to see his rig up and close and a lot of the rigs that he had on the trail that day. So that was pretty awesome. And yeah, that's kind of how we met. And I asked him to join us on the interview.
That's exactly how it went. Yeah. I just let her know. I'm like, we can share the space, no problem. There's going to be like 50 to 60 of us. So you might want to start your adventure ahead of us and, give you guys the space for the smaller group.
Yeah, we just had a small group. I think there was only about like 18 of us at the end of it, but they had a big group. Michael, you had a huge group, and your photos that day looked so good. And I think I saw a couple of Rams. I saw a Subaru, a lot of 4Runners. And what else did we see that day? A lot of trucks. It was nice. It was nice.
That's a big group.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is that I find when organizing these things is you make a post, say, hey, listen, we're looking to go out this day. You give them like 2 months notice. And then you get 10 people who say, oh, wonderful, I'll be there. And then nobody else says anything. And then come the day of, I pulled into the parking lot and I'm just like, are you kidding me? And there's like, we ended up with like, I think it was like 58 or 60 trucks. And it was insane. It was a great turnout.
It was a great turnout.
So I've led large groups like that before, and communication is key during it, right? I mean, your trail lead, and then you probably got at least a couple of people in between. They got the radios, and then of course your guy at the back, right? So, but yeah, communication is key. What are you guys using for communication on the trail out there?
So some of us use CB. I use I think they're called the ham radios. We all have them. Yeah. Not all of us, but I'd say like in our group, maybe out of 60, there's like 20 of us. So we try to stagger the people with the radios.
Yeah.
And we find that that's the best. Me personally, like the guys that I go wheeling with, we use CB because we find that it's better and it's further, like the distance that you could talk to each other is a lot further. And that ham's very limited.
I agree with that too. I think trailing with a larger group like that, we do spread it out too. But with my crew, we just kind of use the radios. They do have a better distance, I think.
That's interesting because most everybody over here uses ham over here. So like vehicle mounted hams, not the like a lot of guys have portable ones, but a lot of people are using the vehicle mounted ones. So we also use them over here too when we're going on the back roads because the logging trucks use the roads as well, right? So we hop onto their channel so we can talk and they can pull over. We can pull over and make sure we're not going to get hit by a logging truck and that too. But it's interesting. A lot of people are still using the CBs. CBs is still hugely popular down in the States as well too. So I know when we go down for work, we have to use CB with the logging trucks now. So it's kind of interesting. So, so hopping back to the 4Runners of Ontario, how can people find out about them?
So very simple. Go on Facebook, type in 4Runners of Ontario. Just click the link, go to invite, fill out the questions, and then you're entered, you're in. And if you have any questions, concerns, looking for parts, looking for anything, just make a post and we'd love to help you out.
Cool. So it sounds like it's a group that's for everybody, a very inclusive group.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like we have people from all over Ontario, and you'd be surprised. A lot of like every single question you could possibly imagine. And, there's an answer for all of them. And we're more than, we love helping out. So
that's good. That's good.
So what age group or what generation are most of the 4Runners in the group?
So I'd say majority is from 25 to 40. So it's kind of like a larger like range, but it varies. There's a lot of young guys from 25 to 30. And then there's a lot of guys like, 40 plus, but I'd say majority probably from 25 to 40.
Yeah. And then also the generation in regards to the 4Runners, mostly 5th gen, 4th gen.
So I would say in 80% 5th gen.
Yeah. I know what you have, but what is your favorite gen?
100%. Like I would sell my 5th gen in a heartbeat if I found a clean 1st gen.
Wow.
Nice little solid axle, 85, right?
They're just great trucks. And I love that you could take the top off. Pretty much like same like a Jeep. You have your back seat out in the wind. And I love that.
Yeah, I hear you on that for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about your rig and all the overlanding gear you have on that rig. So tell us about it.
So just the overlanding gear, or do you want to know everything on it?
Let's check everything. We'll definitely throw up some pictures and videos of your rig. So you can tell us all your modifications.
All my modifications. Okay, so let's start with the front. So I have Morimoto XB Gen 2 Amber DRL headlights. I also have the TRD Pro grill with the Raptor lights. I have a Warren 10K winch synthetic rope. I have a body armor front bumper. I have Diodynamic SS3 Pro fog lights. I have an OK Expedition full skid plate. I have custom sliders that me and my buddy fabbed up about a year and a half ago.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And this is a 5th gen, right?
This is a 5th gen, yeah. So then I have roof rack and RA Motorsports out of Alberta. And so I had a Princess Auto rooftop tent. And honestly, I loved it, but I have switched for this season to a Go Overland tent. So it's been pushed back a little bit for a timeline when I'm supposed to receive it, but it's supposed to be here this week. So hopefully we see it this week before Friday. Wheels and tires. Right now I'm running the Pro Comps, the rock crawlers, and with a Toyo MT 37 by 12.5 by 17.
Wow.
Yeah. And to fit those, I had to do a body mount relocation. And what else?
But also, yeah. Well, what do you got in there for a lift?
So I got a Dobinson MRR kit, fully adjustable. I'm currently sitting at 3.5 inches in the front, and I run a 1-inch body lift. And in the back, I'm running about 6 inches.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and you got no clearance problems with 37s with the lift and the body lift and the cab mount shop?
So since I switched over from a -5 to a -38 offset, I do now rub a tiny little bit at full flex, but honestly, it does really well. Yeah. No, I would love to go to 37s and 35s as well, but it probably won't be for another year or so. But it looks so good on those 37s, with that wrap you got on there, that red, and it just looks so good. It looks really sharp. What did you end up doing for gearing on it? So I haven't re-geared yet, and I haven't. You guys are the first ones to hear this, but I'm actually in the process of ordering a Dana 60 for the back. So I wasn't gonna re-gear. I was just going to order a Dana 60, then re-gear front and rear. So there's a company, East Coast Gear Supply. They make a drop-in Dana 60 for the 5th gen 4Runner. So I'll be doing that, I guess, over the winter time this year. And then, then she'll be ready for 40s.
Wow. So
you can't wheel IFS with 40s. What are you talking about?
So you can. And there's a company, Marlin Crawler, they come out with a long travel front end kit with the CV axles and a Tundra steering rack out of a Toyota Tundra pickup truck. And a couple guys in the States are running it, no issues. So that's the plan for next year.
Nice.
Wow. Nice. A lot of work that you put into it. But it looks, honestly, Michael, looks amazing. Like it's a great rig. It's a great rig. And we were noticing, I think Wes pointed out, so we're like looking at your other pictures. Now, did you start with original different color and then change colors throughout your modifications kind of period time?
Yes. So I started off, it's originally a white TRD off-road, and 2017. And then I decided, I'm like, you know what, everyone has a white 4Runner. And I was like, I got to go different. So I ordered a tan color for the wrap. It's hard to pick the wrap because you look at it on the screen and you think, oh, yeah, that's going to be very comparable, but it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. And at the end of last year, I was pulling out of my building, made a left, and a Honda Accord wasn't paying attention. And I ended up like peeling the whole side of the Honda Accord off.
Oh, wow.
So my insurance company actually paid to have the front of the wrap replaced. And then my buddy owns a wrap shop. So I was like, hey, listen, let's just take this money and then put it towards a full new wrap. And I was originally going to do like a cement gray color, so a Toyota color. But I was like, you know what, this year, like, we're going to go 37s. I want a color that stands out the most. So we ordered, the company's, it's called Vivid, and it's called Ultra Gloss Candy Red. And I didn't know how it was going to turn out because I was like, oh, this is kind of loud. But when I seen it on there and I put everything back on after the wrap, I was like, I love this color.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's by far the best out of those three colors. It's by far the best looking one on there. It just pops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pops. Yeah. Never change it.
I imagine even when the sun hits it too, right? It's just gotta.
Yeah. So when it's in the sun, it looks unreal and you can see the flake and everything. But then when it's like cloudy, it looks like a completely different color. But I prefer when the sun hits it because it looks like unreal.
Yeah, no doubt. So what have you got on the rear of that then? for bumper and all that.
So on the rear, it was an OEM bumper. I was running Greens Mountain in like the Minden area last year, and the exhaust got knocked up into the rear bumper, and then there's a piece of styrofoam that sits above, I guess, like the middle frame piece, and that caught fire on the trail. So my buddy, so there's like a big burning hole in the back of my bumper. So to my buddy, I was like, get the saws all out, and we just cut it right across, and now it's like a chest of high clearance. But I'm running for a tire carrier on the back. I'm running a Wilco switch, so it does accommodate the 37-inch tire, and it is angled. So I do love that. But that's actually like I've only had it for 2 months, but that's going up for sale because I'm doing a full custom rear bumper.
Nice, nice. Are you going to a custom one, or are you going through something like Coastal?
No, I'm doing full custom. So one of my buddies, he owns a company in Roseneath, Ontario called, and he's buddies with Dan from B-Stock Road. And I said to him, hey, listen, I want to do a dual swing out, super high clearance. And he's like, bring it by the shop. And it's currently at the shop right now doing the front bumper. And then right after that, we'll have a rear one up.
Wow, nice.
Looking forward to seeing it. It's gonna look good with those bumpers for sure.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. The last little final touch to the outside of it until
bullshit.
I was just gonna call that too.
I mean, at this point, it's honestly it's an addiction. So I don't know when it'll end. Like I have driving down to my parents' house, and my mom's just like, "What's wrong with you?" She's like, "When is this gonna be over?" She's like, "Are you gonna get out of this, right?" And I'm just like, "No, like I really enjoy this."
You're like, no, it's never gonna end. So, are you driving it daily? Is it your daily driver, or
I do daily drive it?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but before
my curiosity now, how much gas mileage do you get?
So I get around 22 liters per 100 kilometers. I get around 400 kilometers per tank.
Okay.
My speedometer hasn't worked properly in 2 years. So it shows so like when I'm going 100, I'm really going 100.
Yeah.
So I mean, fuel is pretty bad, but at least it takes regular fuel and not premium. So I mean, that's the
option. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, my parents do the same thing. They're like, what? Why? I'm like, you know what? And I'll fill it up every day if I needed to. Like, I don't care. Let the mileage go.
Like I go down to my parents' house. I try to go down every week or every 2 weeks. And my mom's like, "Oh, can I take out the truck? I want to go grocery shopping." Dad took their car golfing. So I said, "Yeah, no problem." And my mom goes out, comes back, she's like, everyone's waving at me and like giving me weird looks that I'm driving this. And I'm like, "Yeah, no." I'm like, "That's normal. You'll get that."
It's not. Oh my god, it's funny.
I've actually got a little step stool for my mom when she comes with me in my vehicle.
That's my part. I gotta invest.
It's a little fold up one. You just put it in the back, right?
Smart.
So what do you got in the interior? So you run it sort of stock, or you got a few mods in there as well?
So interior, I'm really just starting. So I do have. I don't know if you know, but the original, I guess, pre-2020 head units for the 4Runners, they're so small that you don't offer really anything. So I did switch them out pretty much right away when I got the truck. It's a T9 head unit, and I got the CarPlay Android Auto, so that was great. Then I got, I think it's ICS Fab in the States, and it's pretty much like a panel where you can mount like your phone. I mount my CD radio there, I mount my ham radio there as well. And other than that, what do I have? I have a subwoofer, an amp. I have in the back. I have the panels, the shelf, and I'm looking actually with Robinson. I'm probably going to order the door.
Yeah.
Just for camping because I can't stand pulling my stuff out every weekend and putting it back in the truck. I'd rather just have it like a permanent place for it all.
Yeah, that's my next step too. It's just putting stuff in and out of the garage and stuff like that. It's just pain in the ass, right?
For sure. I'm also thinking over the winter probably ordering some seats and a new steering wheel and some harnesses.
Yeah. Going a little bit off topic here, but 2024 Tacoma. We'll get your thoughts on that in a second. But what about the suspension seats? Have you seen that?
I have seen that. I do. I love the design. Like, I'm a big fan of red interior seats. So, I mean, if they were available, just the seats, I would buy them and put them in there in a heartbeat. Do I think they'll be good seats? I mean, I think it'll be better than what's offered now.
Yeah.
So
I think anything would be better than what's in there now, and at least in regards to my 17 Tacoma, right? They're, everybody does. I don't know if they do it in the 4Runner world, but the Tacoma world, they all race the front of the seat, so you actually get a decent angle, and it doesn't hurt your legs and your back, right? So I think a 4Runner is the same idea, right?
Identical. We have the same problem. You can buy the little blocks and do front, rear, and whatnot. So
But so what they've got, Trish, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but they're on a 2024, and I think it's only on certain models. I think I might be wrong on that, but they've got that, for lack of a better term, shock absorbers into the seat.
In the seats. Wow, I didn't.
Yeah,
I've been looking at them. Like I've been seeing a lot of like they're coming out, but I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's only on the tier. I know it's on the Trail Seeker.
Trail Hunter, and I think
Trail Hunter
Pro has it as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. So, but it'd be interesting to see. I think I'm kind of torn on the new Tacoma. I like it. I like the looks of it. But there's a few little things, but I'm really intrigued on the new 4-cylinder engine that they're bringing out, the hybrid engine. So interested to see how that works. They're putting out some pretty good numbers. Horsepower, I think, is like 385 and 460 or something like that on the torque. So some really good numbers. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's not a V6. It's not going to have reliability. And it's like, well, let's give it a shot at least, right? But I think it's going to be quite a bit heavier, though, too, than the regular Tacoma as well, right?
I definitely think so, too. I like the new Tacoma, but I feel like compared to other vehicles that other companies are making, I feel that they came up short. I feel like if you want the Trail Hunter or the Pro, I feel like it should come with a front locker and at least like a true 33, not a 285. Like at least throw a 33 by 12 and a half, or just throw a 35 on it. Like the Broncos come with that, the Wranglers come with that. Why is Toyota not just taking that next step and giving people what they want?
Yeah, I think they've done a very good job. Like there's 5 or 6 different models, so I think they've done a good job on that. But I was listening to a podcast over the weekend, and they're interviewing one of the guys that was helped in the design of it, and he asked him about the locker, and he said basically with the electrics on the vehicle, it'll basically sense any slippage and put it to the opposite tire, etc. He said they didn't put a locker in it because they felt it would cause more damage than good, which I can understand that because I've blown up front diffs before. But also, I mean, there's other companies are doing it, like Chevrolet with their ZR2 and stuff like that, right? So I think there's ways around that, but we'll see.
And I'm assuming, is this going to be the first generation for the hybrid?
Yeah, this will be the first one with a hybrid. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and what I found actually kind of interesting too is that they've detuned the engine for the manual transmission.
Really?
It's about 10 or 15 horsepower less than with the automatic in regards to like a general, like your regular engine, not the hybrid engine. And again, they asked all of that because they noticed that on the specs. And he said that they had to detune it a bit because there was problems with the clutch. They couldn't get it was sticking or something like that. And once they brought down the horsepower a bit, then everything worked out really smooth. I'm like, okay. That sounds more like a design thing to me, but
that's a little sketchy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too, right? So, So what else? You've mentioned some of the stuff that you've got on the rig. And so how you set up camping wise? Looks like you could do a lot of camping. So you mentioned that you've got your new tent coming to you, hopefully this week. And what did you think of that Princess Auto tent?
Honestly, for the amount of money they are, and they're relatively cheap compared to other companies.
Yeah,
I loved it. I had no problems with it. I had their soft shell originally, and the only reason why I got rid of the soft shell is because I was running Hogsback, and I was too tall and I wasn't paying attention. And then you go down into a mud hole, and then there's a tree that goes across it, and I thought I was going to slip right underneath it, but no, it ripped it right off the roof, ripped out the whole bottom section of the tent.
Oh no!
So I got rid of that, and then I was looking, and they had a sale on, and they were reduced from, I think they're usually $2,600, and they were on clearance for $1,299. So I ran over to Princess Auto, got one, and never look back. They're great for what you pay for them.
Yeah. At that price, you can't really lose, even if you get a few years out of it, right? It's
Absolutely.
at that price, you can't lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned you want to do like a slide in the back for your storage and that. One of the things I noticed the other day that you'd posted is that you recently got the spare tire bag from Strikeforce 67.
Yes.
And like, so Strikeforce, we did an interview with them back around Christmas time, and we talked about their recovery boards and their tailgater table and stuff like that. And he mentioned that, I can't remember if he mentioned it on air, but we talked about it off air, and we talked about it after a few times as well about this new spare tire bag, which is huge, and you can fit. It's massive. It's by far the biggest one out there. Maybe you can talk about that and let the listeners know what you think of that one.
So I absolutely love it. When I first saw it in person at the Sportsman show, I was like, this is ridiculous. You don't really understand it, because when I got it home, funny enough, my girlfriend's like, oh, I could fit in this. And I was like, oh, you're not going to fit.
Are you serious? It's that big?
Yeah, I'll send you the video. In the bag, I seal it up, no problem. And yeah, she pops out. She's a small human being in that bag.
Wow.
So it's good for these murderers and people that take dead bodies out to the bush. You can put it, you don't have to get the back of your 4Runner all bloody. You just put a body in the back of the bag.
You just take the bag, dispose of it, order a new one online, you're good to go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's great. I highly recommend it. It comes with, mine has the aluminum table. So I set that up. I run my diesel heater for camping in my rooftop tent. I put all my recovery stuff back there. What else? I even throw a fishing pole back there. Fits in, no problem. So it's just stuff that I don't want to like take up space in the car. I'll just throw it in that bag. And I've had it through the torrential rain on Saturday where I was wheeling. Everything was bone dry by the end of the day. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about that product.
Beautiful. There you go again. Strikeforce 67. Great guys over there. Like I said, I've dealt with him a few times, and yeah, really good. Now, off air, you mentioned that you dealt a lot with Beast Off Road, and I know Trisha has as well.
Yeah.
And what can you tell us about Beast Off Road?
I can tell you a lot. They're a bunch of good guys. They're great guys, John and Dan. I love working with them. They do literally anything. You want to do custom work, you want an oil change, you want a lift done. They order parts. It's like a one-stop shop if you have a Jeep or anything off-road.
Whereabouts are they in Ontario? I imagine a lot of people in Ontario that are listening to this already know about them, but whereabouts are they?
So they're in Toronto. They're on Gerrard Street. So Gerrard Victoria Park is, I guess, the major intersection there.
Yep.
Yeah, great guys. Hi, Dan and John.
We want to get them on the show as well, too. One day. They are on the list for sure.
I can
make a lot of good things. Yeah, we'll get you to hook us up for sure. So, rig-wise, I think we pretty much covered everything rig-wise.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the thing. One thing I wanted to ask was overlanding gear. I know you talked a little bit about it, but for someone like for myself, I do camp, but it's mostly tent camping. So if someone was wanting to get into overlanding, what would be like a starting point? What's like the first thing that you would recommend? Like, is it a tent? Is it getting like your gear set up? What would be like your recommendation?
So the first thing that I would highly recommend is if you're going out by yourself or with a buddy, get yourself a winch. Because worst case, you could sleep in your car. One of the first things that I did was I bought a winch because I figured if I'm heading out there and I lose cell service or something like that, how am I getting home?
Right.
So I would definitely recommend a winch. And once you got that, camping wise, I'd say keep it simple. Go to your local Canadian Tire, grab a ground tent, an air mattress and a pump. See if you like it at all. And if you do, you could spend literally as much money as you want in the overland industry because there's always new innovative products that are being released every couple of days, right? So start simple and just get out there.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. I think, get out there and figure out what you want, and it doesn't matter what's on Instagram. Figure out what, by the time you go camping for the first time or second time, you're going to realize that, I would like, my stove to be, one burner and then one griddle or one grill on my stove or something like that. And you can go towards that, or, there's different things, but I think just get out there and you'll figure out what you need over time. And I know for people on a budget, when I moved from Ontario back to BC, I sold everything and came over in the plane, and I actually hit the secondhand stores, and, I picked up, used silverware, and I picked up, plates and pots and stuff like that. And then from there, I figured out what I wanted, or what I, wanted to move forward with. Right.
Yeah.
And then I bought, good quality gear after that. Right. But I agree. Just get out there and figure out what you want. Right.
What you want.
So
100%.
And that's a good,
Go ahead.
And that was just saying as well, like, that's a good thing you mentioned too, is about the winch, because people don't realize when you're going out there and you're overlanding, you're going through trails, there is a time where you will get stuck. And at least to have yourself or a buddy, just to have that gear so that you can get yourself out or need to recover or do anything. It's definitely a good investment to get a good quality winch and have that on your rig.
100%. I would agree.
Yeah. And that's where a good group like the 4Runners of Ontario, if somebody says, hey, I want a winch, what's my options? They can go in there, they can post up, and then get lots of feedback on people that are actually using these products, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, Michael, did you grow up like exploring and camping? Is something you grew into, or like, is this your first off-roading vehicle, or how did it all begin?
So it started off when I was younger. My parents, they like camping, so we'd go to the provincial parks a couple of times every summer. And then when I got my driver's license, I was kind of like to buddies, hey, let's go camping. And a group of us really enjoyed it. So we started, camping. And from there, I really got into hunting, fishing, outdoors, off-road. And now it is where it is now. It's hard to say, because I just have a 97 Honda CRV, and I would take that thing and beat it up in the So I wouldn't say it was like an off-road vehicle, but so I would say that this is probably my first like true dedicated off-road vehicle.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Well, you're doing a good job of it for being your first one.
Yeah.
I have a go big or go home mentality, and spend once, try once type of deal. So I like to go all out once, and that's it.
That's it.
So we keep on talking about this 4Runner, and I don't know if we actually mentioned how our listeners can see your 4Runner.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, you are at...
That's 6-1.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the number 6, IX, and then runner.
Right. Yeah. So check them out as 6Runner on Instagram, because it's a beautiful machine. And there's also the lots of great photos and stuff like that. Now, your photography is something that they're not just regular, hey, look at me, Instagram photos. You've got some really good photography on there. And is that something you do a bit? You play around a little bit with the cameras, do you?
So I do, yeah. So I I'd say last summer, I got a Canon 80D, and I'm really still learning. A bunch of my photography on my Instagram is done by my buddy Jason, and his tags and a bunch of the photos, it's like Black's Media, and he's really into it. He's very skilled, good buddy. He takes all the photos, not all of them, but he takes a good portion of my photos, and so I'm still learning. He's been teaching me.
So what do you got coming up for events this year? Are you heading to Overland North?
Yep. So I'll be at Overland North this year. I'll be at both events. And then we have a couple, Toyota events that we're going to host. So we'll be doing that as well. As for other shows, I know John wants my truck in a bunch of different shows. I don't even know what they are. Usually it's calling me a month in advance. Hey, the date. I'm not sure what's in the books for this year.
Yeah. Have you been to the Overland North events before?
Yes. So I went to my first one at the start of this year. The winter.
The chilly one.
Yes.
Yeah, the chill out. How was that?
It was actually pretty good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of great vendors. Yeah, it was cold, but it was fun. It was fun because you don't think there's that many people out there who are willing to go out there and bring the poles for the weekend. And surprisingly, I think like 60, 70 people who showed up.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, I had the guys on the show, I'm going to say early January.
Mhm.
And so we're talking about it and hyping it up. And it sounded like it was going to be a fun event for sure. So the next event is coming up in June, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think it's the first week of June or first weekend of June.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
coming up real fast.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So we're trying to get Trisha out there if we can.
Yes. Try to make it out there. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Overland North events, from everything I've heard from everybody, says they're wonderful events. A lot of fun sitting around the campfires and lots of good vendors and lots of good campfire chats and stuff like that. So definitely, if you're in Ontario, definitely check it out. And it's Overland North, NTH, not North itself. So,
Mhm.
so they're on the Instagram and the Facebook, and they also have a Facebook group as well too, which is another good group where they're showing people who's going out and exploring and doing the overland thing and that. So what are you mostly into? Are you the so-called overland guy, or do you like getting into some of the harder stuff, or are you one of those weird people like Trisha that loves the mud, or you just take whatever comes to you?
So I guess I wouldn't classify myself as like an overlander. I'm more like I like going really hard trails. I love the rocks. And for me, I guess overlanding, I guess to me is you get done doing like the 8 hour trail. You get to a campsite by the lake, you pull out the cooktop, you open up the tent. That's it. It's very
Mhm.
seldom that I say, I get the boys together and say, hey, let's go on a camping trip when there's no off road.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, there always has to be like an off road like obstacle to get to the campsite. Because I find that those
Yeah.
campsites where it's harder to get into, you see less people, and it keeps all the people from the city out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. I'm along the same reasoning as you on that. So, but speaking of the camping, what do you eat when you're camping? Are you one of these guys that is good with a smoky by the fire, or are you a gourmet chef on the side?
So for me, it's honestly like my go-to meal is I get a bunch of like Korean barbecue short ribs. I
Mm.
love steaks, hot dogs, anything. I try to throw in one of those like pre-made salads that come in the bag that you
Yeah.
shake up. Most of the time they don't get eaten, but bacon and eggs, anything like I like to keep it simple. I don't prep my meals normally before I go camping, or I'll throw it in the stop and no grounds. So fill the cart, throw it in my cooler, and I'm off for the weekend.
And then go. Yeah. And go.
Are you running the cooler or a fridge?
So I have a fridge. A company in the States, they're called Project X Off-Road. One of my sponsors, they sent out, it's a 56 quart fridge freezer combo. It's called the Ice Box. Highly recommend. It goes down to negative, I want to say negative 18. And I usually just keep it at 0 degrees, and I can bring absolutely anything I want with me for the whole weekend.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
And what was the name of the company again?
Called Project X.
Beautiful.
Project X.
Yeah.
So you work with a few different companies with promotions and stuff like that, Project X, and what other companies have you been working on that we can throw a shout out to?
So I actually recently just got in touch with the guys from OK Expedition. They're out, I believe, in BC, and they make skid plates for Toyotas. And they're actually, so my truck's not with me. My truck's at the shop getting the bumper stuff. But my skid plate just arrived today at Beastock Road. So I mean, I'm excited to go see them, but they're highly great guys to work with. I would highly recommend their stuff.
Yeah, they're another group of guys that we want to get on the episode here, and it's good that you are seeing them out in Ontario, because most of people like in BC or Alberta know about them, but it's nice to see them spreading their wings, kind of idea, right? So another great Canadian company for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely, and I try to work with as many Canadian companies as I can, because I find here in Canada, a lot of the people who own, whether you have a Toyota or a Jeep, literally any vehicle, you're buying all your parts from the States. Not an issue, but by the time you go from US dollars to Canadian dollars and you do shipping, customs, and duties, you're pretty much paying double the amount they are down there. So if you can save the money and support local, then I'm absolutely all for that.
Yeah, 100%. Now, that's one of the reasons that we started the podcast, was to help support and promote local Canadian companies. And we've had some really great guests on here. We've had TMR Racing on. We've had, like I said, Strike 467. We've had Ian from Afraid Not Ropes in Ontario. So we've had a number of, Canadian companies and manufacturers on it. Like I say, want to try and promote those guys as much as we can, right?
Absolutely.
So they're the ones that are actually supporting our industry as well too, right? So these are the guys you see out at the shows, or these guys you see on the trails, or donating time and money for cleanups and stuff like that. So what other companies are you working with?
So right now, OK Expedition, like Canadian companies, or just in general?
In general. Let's promote who you can promote, right? So
okay, sounds good. So I do work with Good Lumens Lighting, OK Expedition, Project X Off Road. Who else is there? We got.
Don't forget anybody, because they're gonna be pissed.
No, I know. So last year tents, they sent me out a tent earlier this year. I love it. It's the one that attaches to the back of your SUV.
Yeah,
very well made. I actually used that this weekend because my other tent's not in yet. But I'd highly recommend checking them out. Yeah, I mean, if I think of anything else, I'll let you guys know.
You bet. Definitely.
Coming down to the very last questions, I guess, here. So is there a particular area that you would like to take your rig out to or to explore? Or like, what's your favorite place here in Ontario or trails that you like to go to?
So trails here in Ontario, I'd probably say like the Mending area and Ardbeg.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite trails. Trails I want to go to, I want to do Moab so bad. Moab,
yes.
Colorado, get out there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to plan a trip for like next summer out there. So hopefully that goes through, because I'd love to get out there. That's a bucket list trip for me.
Yeah. It'd be nice to go with like a nice crew. Go out and, that'd be nice. Get out there.
Go to the Easter Deep Safari.
Oh, 100%. I'm even thinking about going down to Virginia in October for Overland Expo, just to see how they do it down there, because it's the market down there is insane. The amount of products that they offer down there it's ridiculous.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you got a lot of your big names, but there's so many smaller companies that people don't know about, right? So,
I know. There's a company for everything. Anything you could possibly imagine.
Everything.
Off-roading or overlanding, there's a company that makes it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess their last question that we usually ask our guest is, who would you like us to have on the show, on the podcast? Is there anyone that you would like to hear from?
Yes. So there's a YouTuber that I actually follow. His name's Jared Shields. And his YouTube channel and his Instagram, I believe, is jt.explores. And he makes pretty good content for Toyotas. He's got a 4th gen 4Runner, pretty well built out for overlanding and off-roading. So I think that he would have a pretty good grasp on what's happening out Alberta and BC wise. Yeah,
I've seen him on Instagram. Follow him on Instagram. I didn't realize he had a YouTube channel, so I'll definitely have to check that out for sure. Yeah, you're right. He's got some pretty good content for sure on the Instagram anyways. So once again, Michael, thank you for coming on board and spending some time with us tonight. Let's just do a quick recap on people can follow you at 6Runner on Instagram, and that's the number 6 and an IX runner on Instagram. And for more information on the 4Runners, it's 4Runners of Ontario group. You can find them on Facebook. And then, of course, on hopping back to the Instagram, check out TRD North. Got some pretty cool rigs on there as well, too. So, and once again, to our listeners, I just want to remind everybody, if you can follow, like, and subscribe to the 4x4 Canada podcast on your favorite podcast app, and also our YouTube channel. And we're going to be doing a lot more work with YouTube videos over the next 6 months here as we get more and more used to it and tune up our skills on it. But we are going to be doing some product reviews on it, and we're going to be attending a few events as well too. So we'd like to get those up on the YouTube channel as well. So, and also the website at 4x4canadapodcast.com. We're going through a few changes on there as well. And there's also, if you are interested in becoming a guest, you can reach us through our Instagram at 4x4 Canada Podcast on Instagram or Facebook, as well as on the website. There's a link at the top of the page. If you are interested in becoming a guest, shoot us a message and we'll go from there. But Definitely want to thank Michael for coming out tonight. You know, if you like I say 4Runners of Ontario, it's great to see you guys got a big group there from everything I've seen on it. So it's really neat to see the Toyotas being just as popular as the Jeeps out there.
We definitely have to try because there's a lot of Jeeps out here.
And for the ladies listening, if you do have a 4Runner, they totally willing to accept you guys with open arms, just like the GTA Jeep girls do. You know, if you are a 4Runner owner and female, definitely, hook up with these people because they are welcoming to everybody of every race and sex and what age, everything like that. So, which is really, really good to see. What have you got, Trisha? I can see you thinking.
No, I was thinking my brain's going, but it's coming out. No, I'm good. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. And yeah, thank you for our listeners and our viewers. And yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a blast.